good? Yeah,
How's
what's
it
good
going,
seeing you?
everybody? It's your boy Synder, booting up for the day. Lucky Fuzzies. Everyone doing
Yeah, I
all
was just
right?
saying, I am tired, bruv. I am so tired that I actually had to drop the bruv in there. It's only Tuesday, and happy Tuesday, and what's good to see you for?
I understand.
But my days, it's been a long ass day already. I think it's because I've been playing Plus R so much. Not gonna lie, the weekends where I've been playing Plus R, I don't blink. My eyes are so dry. It actually hurts.
Gaming hard.
It
Yo,
be
we
like
don't use
that.
a hard G around here. We don't use a hard G.
Oh,
No
my
gamers around
bad.
here.
My bad. My bad. Sorry.
You know, welcome everybody to Lucky Fuzzies, episode 3. If you haven't been here already, welcome. We've got all the audio fixed this week, and let's hope to keep it that way for the remainder of the show. Uh, Today we have myself, my co-host Drift, and a guest today. Would you like to
Good.
introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's D. I'm really bad at fighting games, and I'm happy to be here to talk about
You
It's
mainly
always
shitpost, to be fair, don't you?
them.
it'd be like
A
that. It'd
little
be
bit.
like that, and it's always nice to have a different perspective as well.
Yeah, fresh eyes. Fresh eyes definitely help. I can't wait for the day I get that sponsorship for eye drops. I know Roto Z, one of the Japanese sponsors for a lot of fight game players. They do deal with eye drops. So let's see if I can get in on that bag.
I understand,
True.
Right,
man.
shall we get started?
Indeed, we've got a lot of news for you all today. Not today, this week, over the last few weeks. So let's
Last
get
2 weeks,
right
yeah.
into it. Uh, First news up for this week is gonna be Shanty for Them's Fighting Turds. New character dropping, supposed to be out on this Thursday, March 25th, 2021. And they're going to be seeing along with
Uh,
that the 2.0 update, which is going to be quite a few changes. And here's the
yes,
post
I'm not a
for you.
big Fighting Herd player. Um, from what I've seen, it looks really good. From the gameplay, that is. I've not actually seen Shanty's trailer myself yet. I'm just going to hit play on my stream
Sounds good.
and be quite quiet about it. Yeah, let's get it. Looks like pretty standard Fighting Herd. It's a goat, my bad. Was that Sonic Boom? Aside,
I'm going to be avoiding too many trailers this week here on my stream because we got hit with some copyright last week.
oh, for real?
Yes.
Oh, my days. Yeah, no, I'll just turn down the sound so we don't get hit with that. So it's the
The
only video we see.
Warriors are watching like a hawk, man.
Man,
Yeah, for real. They're out here. They're out here watching everyone, watching these streets.
they checking the
I
small man, brother. They said, ooh.
Because
everybody.
you definitely got the money.
They said you
Pretty
But
they
much.
shots.
said you did a little too much KOF videos, a little too much Guilty Gear videos last time.
Oh, for real? Damn.
They
Pretty
said,
much.
Shanty's got that slide, got that counter eye. Oh, and the dodge. I'm not sure if that's a universal mechanic or not. Someone that plays the fighting heads will have to let me know.
I haven't played
Uh,
enough of it.
enough. Damn. But Shanty looks kind of cool.
Does look cool. I really
I
like
do like
her
the
design.
design, which is something we can't talk
Yeah.
about a lot here.
Yeah.
And it's a
And the
goat.
avatar look quite dope. That
Got
pixel look.
got like a lot of Caribbean flair. I don't know if you have the sound down, but her theme, it had like a lot of like steel drums and like timbales in it. I love it. It's very fun.
Yeah, I did hear a little bit of it, and I do love steel drums. The sound it makes
Uh,
is cool, and musicians should you look into using them more because
yeah.
it does give you a certain type of beat. I'm not musically inclined myself, but I do appreciate music wherever possible. But yeah,
The
and that was Shanti DLC. Go on, D. What you got?
I was just gonna say like the soundtrack is really sick in the Fighting Herds. I feel like people sleep on the Fighting Herds a lot. But they put a lot of love into the game. And
That is apparent for sure. I can see
yeah,
like the creators love this game, despite being hit with a, I guess,
A
lawsuit is
rough
the correct
start.
term for it. It definitely had a rough start because this was originally My Little Pony, the fighting game,
yeah, just
and they had to
still
change
And
came
names.
out.
some
Yeah.
people at what was it, Hasbro, I believe, didn't like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it might be a good thing, because they branch out. They can't do the ponies anymore. I get it. We got some pony fans out there, but now we have all these other quadrupeds. All right, and that's a whole realm of
Ungulates, I believe they're
possibility.
called.
Yeah, yeah. We could get like a giraffe fighter. Got the long neck. Like some Dalsim shit, or
The
we could
giraffe
get
with
like
the zoning giraffe, that'd be kind of tight
yeah, we
actually.
could.
That would be
A
kind of
zoning
tight
giraffe.
actually.
I don't know about that, man. I'm not feeling that. Considering what I've seen of this game, the combos are extremely long, reset heavy, not as bad as Skullgirls
Not
from
as
what we saw
bad.
last week. But this is still a lot of gameplay. And yeah, no, there is definitely a lot of love from the creators for this game. And for $5 to get this DLC, that's a steal, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you get
Because
the
this game's quite old.
character. You get the stage, you get the theme. Um, $5. Real
Yeah.
good.
And it comes out in 2 days' time, 25th. This is going to be a Thursday. So today is Tuesday when you see this podcast or hear this podcast, depending on how you intake this. But yeah, 2 days from now, 25th of March, Shanty DLC drops for them fighting herds, and it comes with a new patch 2.0. So 1.0 has been and gone. We've been and done there.
Been there, done that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to our next little bit of news with the Samurai Showdown update coming out with the new guard
All right.
crush mechanic along with quite a few along with the DLC character and quite a few adjustments.
Yeah,
Now,
so I do apologize to everyone involved. The links I've saved. This is a 5-page PDF, which obviously we're not going to read. I'm not going to read through all of this.
no.
If you do want show notes, check out the YouTube because my boy Synder, who is actually the host for this, I'm sure he will link all of this.
Yes.
Everyone's being a little quiet, no worries, VF. But yeah, Samurai Showdown patch 2.0 changed, improved features. Added a DLC character who I can't remember who it was. Do you remember who it was, Synder?
The new DLC character would be A1. I'm trying to remember her name.
Ayane? No, that's not Ayane.
I saw
Cham Cham. Thank you
the
very much,
Cham
Rory.
Cham, thank you. I saw the character literally this morning when I was looking up the game some so that I could understand all the changes more.
I
Yeah.
was trying to remember the name. It's the
Yeah,
boomerang girl.
Boomerang Girl. We're gonna call Cham Cham the Boomerang Girl now.
the
You hear it here.
boomerang,
You heard it here
easy.
first. You're gonna see it in tournament, and let's go Boomerang Girl. Let's go. But
Got
yeah, we've got new
boomerang girl
DLC
on the
character.
screen.
Yes, DLC character Guard Crush function. An internal Guard Crush meter increases whenever an opponent blocks regular or special attacks. The opponent will be able to be guard crushed once they turn red. Landing a standing heavy slash during this phase will perform a guard crush. Just defending an opponent's attack will not reduce one's internal guard crush meter. Also, just defending can prevent one from being guard crushed when glowing red. So I think that the key words here is internal guard crush meter.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard and seen, is that there is no visible bar on screen
Oh,
apart from your character turning red.
that's
So that actually it gave me a bit of a vibe when I read about that, and I was like, this reminds me of risk gauge and Guilty here. And then I saw, you can't see the risk gauge in Sam Show. And I
There
said,
is no risk gauge in
oh,
Sam Show. You just gotta hold that.
you have the invisible risk gauge. Y'all doing it different.
yeah. They
Just
have
gotta be different.
they have sort of a similar system in Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah.
If you block too much, you don't really know your health bar will start flashing, but you never know when you're about to get guard broken. That's
Mm,
interesting. It forces you to kind of like think about blocking. You can't just sit there and block all day.
yeah, which is interesting because there's different titles where not you're almost encouraged to block all day if you know you can beat the mix up. So, for example, in Dragon Ball Fighters, you can sit there and block all day, and there's not even much chip damage to worry about, especially since you can't be killed by it.
Yeah, the offense is like super strong and
That's
fast
true.
in Dragon Ball.
The
And
offense always changes up to reflect that as well, yeah. In games
yeah,
without many offensive options, you'll notice that there'll be the ability to chip kill, do chip damage, etc., etc.
And not just Dragon Ball, but a game that is less, I guess, less mechanically verbose than Dragon Ball is. Dragon Ball Fighters would be
mm,
Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter 5. You don't have a block gauge. You have a stun gauge, but you could technically sit there and block all day, chip damage, and you won't be chipped out unless it's a super or critical art. Sorry, my apologies, technical terms. But you could technically sit there and tech take the throw, or take the throw even as well. But you could just sit there and block all day with no repercussions unless you get opened up like a killer tuna.
yeah. I guess this is like sort of like Samurai Showdown's way of kind of like spicing up the gameplay. They want to give people that kind of like fire under their ass. Like, you got to move, you got to take an attack. If you're just sitting there just blocking, heavy attacks all day, you're just gonna get blown up.
Oh, yeah. The way it works
And
specifically is that up to a certain point, as a character starts flashing, starts their guard starts turning red, etc. Once they hit that point and they get guard crushed, they can, which can only be performed through the heavy slash, the stand heavy
Yes,
slash, which is why
yeah,
as we scroll through these patch notes, you'll notice a lot of the characters they say standing heavy slash has had decreased attack startup. It's had changes done to it because now once that heavy slash hits, you could cancel it into just about anything, even your super, and get some huge damage as a reward.
all right. Speaking of patch notes, whilst we've got Samurai Showdown on screen, and whilst we're still talking about Samurai Showdown, how do you feel about these patch notes? Like all game developers release patch notes differently, and it's
Mm,
been obviously an area of contention of patch notes that some are not as self-explanatory as developers may think, and some are basically spoon feeding you. How do we feel about these patch notes for Samsho?
just looking at the Sam Show notes, I definitely say I prefer them over quite a few other games where I am told the value has been changed. That is
Hurt box
all. Not even
has been
changed. It
extended
has been
inward.
adjusted. They tell me decreased attack startup, decreased attack start now launches upwards. Man, thank you for telling me that. There's some games that won't even tell you that. Now downs
That's very
opponent
true. That
on
is
hit.
facts.
Yeah, I like these are nice patch notes to look at personally. And
They are
obviously we're
definitely
going
good to
through,
look at.
yeah, we're
I
obviously
think they're
scrolling through
missing
these
numbers.
missing numbers.
yeah,
They're missing
yeah.
frame data.
That
Like
is
I've
true.
just scrolled down to I'm gonna butcher names because I have not studied Japanese. But Kiyoshiro Senryo is crouch walking with or without a weapon, increased movement speed, shrank the lower hurt box. But more importantly, his other move, Toad Plague, which is amazing sounding move because bring on the frogs, with or
Bring on the
without a
front.
weapon, reduced recovery frames. Okay, reduce recovery frames, but by how many?
That's true.
It, yeah, is it gonna be hard to whiff punish now, or is it safe? No.
Yeah, is it -5 or is it -50? But again, no, I'm with you, Cinder. These patch notes are a good start. They are more informative than other fighting game developers have released. So I am about this life. Obviously, a few things, personal opinion, obviously, because I am not a game developer, but some frame data would be nice with all these changes. Decreased attack startup. Okay, that's now -2 from -1 or whatever. I don't do frame data, but
Indeed.
you get the gist of what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it really feels like a lot of Japanese game devs are kind of allergic to showing frame data. It's Like Tekken, they released the DLC where you could get in the game, but
And you can
compared
buy the
to
frame data, dog.
yeah, you go buy the frame data, but like we
Is
don't
it
even have the
$30?
option. We don't even have the option to buy frame data in a lot of these games, and compared to other like Western games like a Mortal Kombat, it's right there, and they'll list the frame data and everything. It always seems so vague. I think stuff like Tekken has gotten better, and speaking of patch notes, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but the Tekken patch notes have gotten a lot better at like showing exactly what.
I'm gonna need to get a VTuber model or something because I damn near fell back when you said some games don't even let you pay for frame data. I said, oh no,
Yeah, no, you don't even get the like yeah, paying for frame data.
oh no.
That's
My
that's
heart,
one thing, but at
my
least
heart.
I can have the frame data.
That's true. I mean, I will give out another example where frame data technically doesn't exist, and that is Grand Blue Fantasies fighting.
Mm.
That you don't have frame data in that game. You are either positive or negative
Yeah, and
or
Oh,
neutral.
aren't you a different color depending?
yeah,
Basically, yes.
they
You're
give you
red or
the
blue
drop
or
line.
green.
I will say this, even though you have even though that's there and it tells you, hey, you're positive here, you're negative here, that's helpful to a degree. A lot of people, they'll see that and they'll say, okay, this is easier for beginners to understand. But beginners are also going to want to know, how positive am I? Because they will want, if they're a beginner starting out, that's different from being a beginner who's just playing to play with their friends, etc. Like, so it's casually playing. If you're a beginner and want to be competitive, you're going to want to know, okay, I'm positive, but by how much? Like, can I press a button after this? Or am I positive enough to where I can go for a throw? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because obviously different moves have different startups, right? So whilst I may be positive on hitting out a light punch, I may not be positive enough to throw out a throw or a medium punch or another light punch even. So it
Indeed.
may just say I'm positive, but that just means you're positive enough that you'll be safe on block. So you might as well be 0.
Yep. But moving on from that. Oh, well, no.
Yeah.
Before we move on, does anyone else have anything to add?
Not for Samsho. Samsho, again, a game I don't play, but I thought I would raise this because it is a fighting game. It is still somewhat popular. It was on Evo 2019, and that is some foreshadowing for later on in this episode. So, guys, stick around.
I
Indeed.
I'm just happy Shamso is still getting content. So it's a game that's kind of dealt a bad hand. It's really
It does
new.
suffer from the delay-based netcode curse.
Yeah, it does, but you know they're still getting content. It's still holding on for dear life. You know, I'll just
Just
yeah. So hopefully the Samsho scene it keeps on thriving as best they can.
Indeed. What? Moving on, we're gonna get into Tekken. Speaking of, with their patch notes and etc., they had an update as well that Harada let us know about on Twitter, and I'm pulling up
indeed,
his post now.
yeah.
Now,
Version 4.10 character update list. Just from the image, um, these are This is pretty in depth because Tekken patch notes have always been a bit in depth, but obviously this patch has come with the new character Lydia, the Polish Prime Minister. I want to say Prime Minister because no one else has told me otherwise.
it is the Prime Minister.
It is the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And one thing I did ask when Lydia got shown or got announced was I went to Twitter and asked, like, all right, Polish Tekken players, how do you pronounce Lydia's surname? And
Ooh,
someone actually responded because I was thinking it was either Sobiska or Sobaiska. So Baiska, but it's Sobyaska.
Sobiaska?
No, Sobyaska.
Sobyaska?
Sobyiska, sorry. Sobyiska.
Sabyiska. Okay.
Sobyiska.
Sobyiska. Sobye ska.
No
So
go.
Sobyiska.
I
So
definitely would have
for
said
all
that
those
wrong. I ain't gonna cap.
exactly. This is why we ask these questions. So when next time you hear someone on the mic, when you hear Tasty Steve shouting and screaming, grabbing your arm through the screen, and
Oh
he shouts
God.
Lydia's name, you can turn around and tell him it's Zabiska. Put some respect on that name.
You can hit him with the tasty Steve. You said it wrong, brother.
Oh, geez.
Zabiska.
But no,
So
looking
thank
through
you very
these.
much to the Tekken, Polish Tekken community for informing me, for answering my question about that. But yeah, patch notes. Anyway, back to Tekken. Actual Tekken news. Patch notes version 4.10. I'm not a tech. I dabble in Tekken. Synder D.
Yep.
What have you got in these patch notes for
All
me?
right, we got quite a few changes here going through these patch notes. Specifically, some rage changes through for a lot of these characters they're talking about, which would be Yoshi, Steve, Nina, Lee, Anna, Julia, Leroy, Kunimitsu, etc., etc. Then Fakuram is the big one here, which the
Oh yeah,
first thing I
fucked.
noticed, just off rip, I asked some people, the first thing they said was, thank God they nerfed that boy Fakuram. So,
I mean,
if nothing
he came
else,
out.
he's not a terror.
He came out swinging when he dropped. Literally dropped and came out swinging like his trailer did.
So did
And my
Leroy,
God,
funnily enough. I think Tekken is getting on that powerful DLC character grind that Dragon Ball Fighters was on for about a while there.
no, that's true. That's very true. But yeah, Farukman, sorry, Farukman. I can't pronounce his name. I
Fakuram.
need to.
Fakuram.
Fakuram. Thank you
I
very
don't
much.
even know if I
Yeah,
said
no,
that
he
right, but
got
that
messed
sounds
up in
right.
these patch notes. He is definitely not
He's not the
not as
man he
much of a
used to
terror.
be.
He is a shadow of his former self.
They wrote a book about him in the patch notes. It looks like
Man.
a whole page just for fucking.
Yeah, and same with Steve because I actually saw
Oh yeah, Steve got some big
Knee.
hits too, from the looks of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Steve got mixed up. Knee, the Korean Tekken player, he tweeted out as well saying, "What did you do to Steve? Please don't ever do this again."
Who did you do to my character? I understand.
What did you do?
Yeah.
Man. That'll be
Um.
something to talk about for sure one of these days. But we're trying to get through news today. But when people reactions to patch notes and having your character changed a lot is something to talk about for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I only play top tier. I play Grand and Grand Blue, so
Oh, you
my
only
patch
play
notes
top
was.
tier? Oh, you know you
Well,
be
I say I
getting
only
your
play top tier.
character changed. Do you know that? Don't even.
No, Grand didn't get changed. He got
Oh.
from extra large Tims to regular sized Tims. So my Tim would still fit fine. They fit even better
Okay.
now.
I've definitely gotten the weird side of the patch note fever where I played kind of a low tier. I played Katarina and and
She was
then
never low tier.
yeah. Well, I mean, she
was
definitely wasn't
perceived
like
low
top
tier when she came out.
Yeah, and then they kept changing her patch after patch, and I remember talking about it with my Tekken friends, and it was just confusing. We were all just why
Why
are we
do they
doing
keep
these
doing
changes?
this?
Yeah, why me?
No, I've been on both sides of patch notes across multiple games. I've been on the side of yes, my low tier has been buffed to power, and I've also been on the side of my top tier just got shot, and it sucks.
And your character probably deserved it.
Hey yo, they ain't have to do my boy like that. Why'd they shoot Kid Boo's damage in Dragon Ball Fighters patch recently? Why they shoot his damage? They ain't have to do that.
Because
I
they
know
got bored of Kid Buu.
that's cap. They ain't changed anything else, so clearly they ain't bored of him.
They're seeing do too much damage, too much chocolate. Is that lay off the sweets, Kid Buu? We gotta chill.
Man, that boy been top tier since he was released, and he gonna stay that way. Vanilla power. Day one powerful.
I'm surprised like how little they changed certain characters in Tekken patch notes. I'm pretty sure people are still complaining about Leroy, but one change.
Yeah.
And so I think they're just happy where he is, I guess.
That is something that I've noticed in games. A lot of the time, characters will come out and the community will have a big uproar about it. But the devs will go, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. And that's the thing, right? The people that complain about Leroy, do they actually play Leroy, or are they just people that want to complain about Leroy?
you can't like listen to the loud masses, the vocal minority, take that as law. You gotta take it with like a grain of salt because people are gonna complain about your
A
character
grain?
no matter what it is. Like if you play Ed in Street Fighter, people are still complaining about it. Like no one cares about Ed, but the moment they play against one, they're like, man, this character's stupid, complain
He
about
is
it.
stupid.
Yeah,
Hey
Ed
yo,
players, all they do is mash, and
look,
so
y'all gonna
I
stop
think
disrespecting my boy Ed on stream, cause
uh, I got no disrespect for Ed. All right, I'm just
Ed
saying
is
I
like
the
do.
there's
only
people out there.
character. Ed is one of very few characters I enjoy playing in Street Fighter Five. Y'all gonna put some
You know,
respect on his name.
you, you
Hell
know,
no.
there's people out there. They're calling for Ed's head. They're like, oh, you need to nerf Ed. They'll say just whack shit like that.
Okay, I will say, Ed does not need a nerf. I
Hmm.
want to see season 4, 5 for Street Fighter. Um, even out a little bit first, just so everyone gets a bit of experience. Because what I've seen on Twitter lately, the Twitter tech coming from certain players about Ed, my days, like punishing Akuma's EXDP into a basic 90% kill.
Yes, sir. We like
That
to
shit
see that.
powerful.
We like to see that. I need that
No, we
Kusoge
don't.
damage. I need it. What you
The
mean?
Kasagi damage.
Yes, sir. I
And,
need it.
and these training modes aren't even full V meter. He builds basically a bar and a half to get into critical art.
Yes, sir.
So
That's why we
all
need
you've
that.
got. No, you don't.
I
No, you
do.
don't.
What do you mean?
That's where Twitter lab monsters will make any character look.
That's true
That's
though.
true.
That
That
is
is
true.
very true. Uh,
But no, we're
yeah,
getting a bit
that's
off
always day
topic.
one.
We'll have to save this for at least for the Street Fighter section. But moving
Absolutely.
on, we've got some updates for KOF here, with both Yuri and Terry being coming out. And I'm gonna hope that the SNK gods don't shoot me, but I want to play their trailers.
They've got you in their sights, bro.
Oh God,
I mean,
man.
Yuri looks kind of trash. I'm gonna straight out say it.
Unfortunate. But no,
Oh, and obviously the trailers are cut to stop motion. It is actually trash. Jesus, someone fired this trailer team.
it do be like that. But no, we're taking a quick look at the trailer here. Don't know how much we'll play. You know what? I'm gonna play the whole thing just because.
I'm
Oh
playing the whole
well,
thing.
I'm just gonna get shot by the copyright monsters on YouTube. Oh well, I accept my fate.
There we go.
Please come and support
That's
the stream and the YouTube so that I can feed myself.
yeah.
But no, Yuri looks interesting. She has the rapid kicks. She has the fireball. It looks like I haven't played her before in KOF games. Like I messed with her briefly in 2002 Unlimited match, but she looks like she
Oh,
has
yeah.
her stuff, which is always good to see.
Yeah, she looks like she's has what she has from 14 and 13 and previous games in general. Yuri looks like my sort of character. I say my sort of character. I play Sakura in Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5. I play Sakura. Yuri's probably the closest thing I would get to traveling dragon punches, dumbass fireballs, and the flip kick that she has in this trailer. Still, I want to complain. I am going to complain. The team that made this trailer, that cut this trailer together, needs to be fired.
Again, dang, they all gotta be fired. I will say though, this trailer is not that good. The Yuri trailer, it's this you can tell. At least I'm starting to think there are different teams cutting each trailer. Either
for
that
sure.
or some trailers got hit with the the community didn't like this. Let's change it up. And some trailers did not.
Yeah, the KOF trailers they really leave something to be desired.
Some of them don't though. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yuri's
That's the- all right.
trailer, Terry's trailer, which we're about to see as well.
Actually, saying that,
Kyo's
let's go to Terry's trailer right now. Like,
Indeed.
I'll finish showing Yuri's trailer. Let's just show Terry's trailer and then compare the two.
That sounds like a great idea. fact, let me make sure it's full screen. And let's go ahead and take a look.
Seafood restaurant.
No. An interesting thing I've noticed between these KOF trailers is that it maybe it's because they're mainstays, but a lot of these characters are getting much better. Not even mainstays, but more
Okay, I
well-known
lied. This trailer's
characters.
also trash because it's cut to shit.
Well, it is, but Terry's trailer has a little bit of something extra afterwards, where it feels like they're almost
True.
playing matches.
That is true. So, that may have been a spoiler, but if you haven't seen this trailer already, actually, I'm gonna go back shortly in a second because these fire graphics,
The fire
are
graphics
so
do leave
poor.
some they're interesting to say the least. They leave something to be desired. However, I will say on his super, they make it look pretty nice because of the zoom out effect,
Yes.
which
So
I
Team
think
Fatal
part
Fury,
of
let's go.
yes, Team Fatal Fury
And
announced, which is great to see. That's another team down, and we know KOF is gonna have a lot of characters in this game. That's just how KOF rolls. 2002 even has what 50 characters.
really,
Yes,
damn.
and
I
I
mean,
can
you do need a lot of characters for this game because it's a 3 versus 3. I say 3 versus 3. It's 1v1, but with teams of 3.
which is something that I personally adore. I really hope that it stays the standard for KOF. It should because
Yes,
that's how it's always
for
been.
KOF, definitely.
But I hope more
Um,
games adopt that sort of thing because I personally love games where you can play more players at once than just the 1v1. Which is why
are
I've
you
always
saying?
loved MK9 Tag, for example.
Are you saying though, Dragon Ball Fighters, if they took out assists and have it 1v1 in a team of 3, you'd be
Actually,
fine with that?
I don't actually, be, at least referring to Dragon Ball Fighters, Dragon Ball has a party mode where it is 3 versus 3, but it's 6 people, but you still have your assists and everything. And I personally adore that mode as well. I think if games adopted that mode, I'd be even more happy.
Okay. I may have to delve into your brain a little bit later on. But yeah, so we just saw Yuri and Terry's trailer. I remembered incorrectly because Terry's trailer was also cut in a similar fashion to Yuri's, where it was a bunch of jump cuts, less so, but there were still jump cuts between moves. But the difference obviously was Terry was actually fighting against Andy, his brother, in the game.
Indeed. And even more so after the initial bit of Terry, and when they show his super, he has almost it sort of brought to us in a news segment format, which is funny since this is a news podcast today. And he's almost like he's fighting normal matches. There's some clips here and there, but it's like the developers were having in some matches and they said, and we'll throw this in the trailer.
Yeah, so which makes me think either it's a different team making a trailer and goes, "Oh, Terry, is our main character for King of Fighters." We have him pretty much fully developed because he is the mainstay. So he has definitely got more content to be delivered, and why we had that fight against Sandy. But also, if that is the case, why did they do jump cuts for all his moves during the trailer?
That might just be what they've decided on doing, funnily enough. Or at least it's something they decided earlier in development, and the clips they show afterwards are something they added later. That's also possible.
True, very
However,
true.
that does still bring the issue with jump cuts being in some trailers and in other trailers the jump cuts aren't as bad. Like in Kyo's trailer, the jump cuts are almost
Hmm.
non-existent, or at least they
Yeah,
happen
you get
after the big impact of his moves. So
yeah,
you get to sit there
and
and
on
savor each attack with Kyo.
and on my stream, 42 seconds in, the fire effect. Sorry, I will pronounce properly today. Look at it, people. 42 seconds in the Terry trailer. It's horrible. It looks like he's punching lava. It's not fire, it's lava. And honestly, I think it's supposed to be punching fire, not lava.
I wouldn't pause it there.
Yeah, 42 seconds in. Look at it.
All right.
On that frame, it is rough.
That's a rough frame. I'll give you that. That's rough.
Thank you.
The fire is rough on Terry for sure. Yuri didn't look as bad, but most of his fire was shown through his command grab. So
Yeah.
Terry's fire looks a bit rough. Yeah. But also, I'll give them this. In his actual super, at about 40, 50 seconds, it looks cool because of how they frame it with the zoom out.
I don't know.
It's almost like a pillar or a cylinder coming from him. Which
So I'm just going frame by frame here on the trailer now. Like 50 seconds, and I'm going frame by frame. The zoom out looks cool, but the fire swirl
the fire
in front,
itself does still look
it's very
interesting.
questionable.
Yeah.
It's a little. It's better than 14.
That's fair.
That's not hard.
I mean,
That's not hard.
yeah, it's not
Well,
hard.
yes.
SNK has really been shaking the rust off when it comes to how their games look, but there are improvements. But yeah, I don't think 15 is like the best looking game to come out this generation
No.
I
at
will
all.
hold my thoughts on that because this game isn't out yet.
It's not out.
Update the shaders. They may update the shaders, so the game may look prettier on release, but as it stands, the trailers have not helped King of Fighters 15 in saying, "Look at our new fighting game. We look amazing."
They might benefit from it seems like they don't have like a super high budget when it comes to their art direction, but they might benefit from kind of like stylizing their game a little bit more to get around those limitations, kind of like making it look
A
pretty, because they're
specific
not
way.
gonna.
Like how
Yeah,
Dragon Ball looks like Dragon Ball, or how Grand Blue almost kind of looks like Grand Blue. It could use some adjustments, but it looks like it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like people talk about like how bad Marvel Infinite looked, but like
it looks horrible.
yeah, but it all has to do with kind of like the package. It was like very, very flat. Like you look at Marvel 3 and it's like it's an older game. It's got kind of like worse, you know,
Okay, hang on. Oh, my issue with Marvel Infinite
yeah.
in the Avengers game that is out currently, or Infinite's already been out, is that because they couldn't pay for the face models of the actors that played it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they had to use Uncanny Valley lookalikes to look similar but not the same.
Yeah.
Whereas in Marvel 3, you had Captain America, you had all the X-Men, you had all of that Marvel cinematic stuff, um, and Doctor Strange, and they looked like their comic book variations,
Yeah.
which if Marvel kept to that, I feel like Infinite would have done a lot better rather than say, hey, look, we're tying in with this with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Look at Disney give us all this money.
Yeah. It it kind of it kind of fell flat. I mean, I think SNK probably learned their lesson, maybe hopefully from I don't want to say learn their lesson, but like people were complaining about how the last King of Fighters looked. So hopefully they're just putting more effort, taking into consideration that in this, and it does look a lot better. And I think Samurai Showdown actually looked pretty good.
It
All things
Oh
does.
yeah, the Samsung looked
yeah,
amazing.
But
yeah,
no, we'll give them that it does look better than KOF 14, which while you say it's not too big of it, that's not hard. We'll say they're improving, which is
yeah.
Yeah,
better than
yes.
some people do.
If it looks better and if the online is better, then I think like KOF has got a good shot because everything else about KOF's character designs are great. Terry's in Smash now. People know
Like,
who he is.
that's true though. That is one thing. People
There it
underestimate
is
the
now in
power of
Smash.
crossovers. Like Street Fighter blew up by about 400 plus players on Steam after the Ryu crossover with Chun-Li in
Really?
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Yes.
Um,
That's big
Fort-
numbers in
And that's
fighting
only
game.
on Steam. Keep in mind Street Fighter's on PlayStation as well, so
those Fortnite kids will be crying the second they actually jump into a real match.
Or they'll
Hey,
get
They
man,
better.
all just go,
Or
they're
they'll
gonna be
they,
get
playing
better.
Ryu.
no, I think they'll just walk away and go, I'm going back to Fortnite and play that game. You can't touch me there.
Nah,
And we're going to go hunt them down.
Ryu and Sean are top tier now, dude. They're gonna have a good time.
They did buff Ryu, and Chun has always had her power.
No, she got held back after season 1.
That's fair.
Like, season 1 Chun was the gatekeeper. Unless you get past Chun, you couldn't be a top player. And then after season 1, she got dropped down a little bit, and the floodgates opened, and everyone was crying, "Bring back Chun."
But no, moving on to our next topic, we have the CPT costumes for Street Fighter being on them and the graphics stock. But Street Fighter had the CPT costumes. There was a costume contest for designs, and the winners were me no me and JNXC _
My boy.
and both of them made jury costumes. As you can see them on screen, I'm going to give them a bit of a closer up look. And both of the costumes look pretty good, although I will say there was some discourse about the fact that 2 costumes won and they were both for jury.
I think what it was, I think there was only gonna be one winner, right? And
From what I remember, yeah.
it was so close. The voting was so close. Those 2 jury costumes, they just made both, which is kind of cool.
That
Think
is
about it.
cool.
They're
It
just like,
might actually make people play jury.
yeah. I remember like we were sitting there. Everyone was like, this jury or that jury. You know, no one actually plays jury, but we all want a jury costume, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
I mean, Chun-Li has about 50 different costumes in Street Fighter 5.
Oh yeah,
And I'm not even exaggerating.
that's
I am
not
so-
real.
blessed.
That girl got costumes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
use
She
I use
got
a different
costumes on costumes.
On
different
costumes.
costume day of the week. Like have like Tuesday is the Alpha Chun Li day, and then day got to go with Battle Outfit 2.
And then the
Yeah.
colors as well. So you could actually cover probably half a year, basically half a year
Oh
of
yeah.
different costumes for Chun-Li and different colors up to June, July. But Jury finally gets 2 costumes. I do like the right. Well, obviously, I am biased in this one because JN, who does come into my stream quite often, he is one of the boys now. His poison looking Jury / M Bison costume, especially in the red, I really like.
Oh, it looks sick. It looks
It,
sick.
it looks
It
amazing.
does look pretty good. She has the bison hat. She has the sort of like sash almost. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
going on in the costume, but it looks really good.
People were saying like when they saw the concept art, it was great concept art. But people were saying, oh, this isn't gonna transfer really well to the game at all. And then I think it looks great. And like whoever like modeled that did a good job.
See, that's the thing. I want to agree with you. Like whoever modded this did a great job, and people that were thinking that it wasn't going to be translated well into game were skeptical, and I appreciate them being skeptical because if you play Street Fighter 5 for any amount of time, let it be 5 minutes or more, you will see how jank some of these costumes and how, when it's in motion, the costumes and animation looks. The prime example I always give is Birdie on the loading screen. His chain that he holds, that he bites onto, goes through his necklace, and that
Oh,
always
yeah.
irks me. That always
The
gets me.
the physics objects in the game are always
Suspect.
kind of working against it. Like there's like shit like like Nikali's hair always jank, and they should like consider not doing that in future titles. just
They should just consider not.
just
Yeah,
come up with a
I
different
agree.
idea.
Just fix it,
Yeah.
Omega.
Maybe, possibly.
Omega,
But
lol.
with these costumes, people I have seen have complained about how horny these 2 costumes are.
I mean, it's jury. Why do you think they got that many votes? These are jury players we're talking
These are
about.
jury
No,
costumes.
Excels.
Correction. Not even jury players, jury costumes.
yeah,
All
like
right. Okay. Sex sells. And my boy JN's costume, whilst has less clothing, is not as horny as the jury school girl biker Ozuzoku looking outfit.
Got the fourth
You,
Hokage jacket on.
yeah, you got the Hokage jacket on. You got the undertit showing. You got the chains around the neck. You got the choker, bare skin. Got my
Well,
boy JN's costume. She's covered. He has a sash. She's got half a skirt on. The other half's missing for whatever reason. Because it's battle damage. Sure, I'll take it. She's got a hat.
He
She's got an eye
says
patch.
battle damage.
battle damage.
This is Jury we're talking about. That was a stylistic choice from the character, not even the creator. The character
Yeah.
said.
She got the pre-distressed suit jacket.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, Capcom, they really know what sells in the costume department.
What, Chun-Li?
Maybe that's why they went.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think Chun-Li has so many costumes?
That she do. But
Think
no,
people
moving on
actually
from costumes. Let's talk about Capcom Pro Tour.
Oh, true.
Oh yeah.
They're calling all World Warriors. Capcom Pro
Okay.
Tour 2021 starts April 17th, and new CPT DLC releases start tomorrow. Let's go. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead
On
and
this
play
point.
the video they gave us. Well, not that they gave us. Ooh, I got. Let me turn the audio off.
Everyone got blindsided there.
I'm sorry to y'all. It hit me too.
Oh, sorry. Squishy Gnomes in my chat has corrected me. It's a Sukaban for Yuri in her Bozuzoku outfit. I say Bozuzoku, it's not Bozuzoku. Sukaban is the jacket. Girl delinquents. Everyone goes to horny jail. So thank you very much, Squishy Gnomes. Yeah, hold up. So this G costume is trash. I don't like it.
Oh, the G
The
costume
Seth,
is still coming
the
up.
Seth costume, I'm intrigued by.
I like.
Yeah, the G costume. They shown it now. Ooh. You know,
Yeah,
my first impressions were that it was interesting, and then I looked at it for a while longer, and I was like, I was like, I just started getting the higher levels of Like the G
and just a
costume, the
further
longer I look
clarification.
at it,
Sorry.
the worse it looks.
Yeah, exactly. But for further clarification, Sukaban is girl boss, not the jacket type. So Yuri is dressed as a Sukaban, Sukeban, girl
Girl
boss.
ball? Is that the official term for?
That is the official and
He says that's the official weeaboo
is
term.
that the official weeb term. D, you're not coming back on this podcast. I don't care, Synder. You may be the host. This may be your show, but I'm banning D.
Oh, you hurt just
No.
because he said it? Oh, it's okay. Everybody knows you a weeb in the comment section now. It's all good.
Sukaban is Yuri's costume in the purple jacket. But
Super bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm finna be
Sukaban.
saying that too.
I'm gonna catch some heat. I kind of like the G costume. It's goofy.
That's because you're trash.
It's goofy in a fun way. He's already a goofy ass character.
That's fair.
They gave him a mustache. They took his beard away though. I can see people getting bearded out by like fucking Beethoven looking ass G.
Gino mustache is
Wow.
not no mustache. Gino beard is it's different.
Yeah,
It don't hit the same.
It's like 70s like white guy G.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's hippie G. So
He
I'll
has
finally
like
finish
the
watching
Hank
the video.
mustache, like
There's a lot to break down in this trailer, in this video.
for sure.
Dude,
Specifically
like,
the 19 territories part.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's gonna be NA in Canada East, NA Canada Midwest, NA Canada West, Central America East, Central America West, Brazil, Europe West, Europe North, UK, Ireland, Spain, France, Portugal, Asia East, Asia Southeast, Japan, China, Middle East, Republic of South Africa, Europe East and Russia, Australia, South America West. And those are going to be the territories, which is going to be very interesting for this. It's a lot of territories, which is good because we know Street Fighter has some interesting rollback, to say the least. It's not the best implemented at all.
Interesting in netcode. but Capcom from this trailer for Capcom Pro Tour, they have definitely learned from 2020, from last year, that the regions they used were not enough. They were
Not
too
at
generalized.
all.
They were too specific. So they weren't specific enough. And Synder, please stop trying to kill my eardrums. I'm
Sorry,
going deaf here. It's so
I
good,
hit
bro.
it
So
by
good.
accident.
But there is still some contention, especially with the Republic of South Africa being as large as it is. It's still too large for that region,
Indeed. Which we'll have
and
to see
even
how that goes down.
it's going. But beyond that, I'm going back to this G costume.
Again, come on, brother. We got 19 territories and 32 events, and you're worried about a
I
G
don't fucking
costume?
care. I'm worried about G costume because everyone get more time to play. You got Europe East and West, and being the guy from the UK in this Discord in this call, I have to rep the country. UK and Ireland are in their own separate region, which is amazing. So
Oh,
we don't have to fight the Phenom, the Angry Bird, the Big Birds. We don't have to fight any of the birds really. The UK and Ireland get their time to shine, which is amazing. But this G outfit, look at him. I have him full screen on my screen right now, and his 70s ass porn star mustache with his hippie beads, looking like he's just finished from Mardi Gras, looking like he's about to strip.
it's
Oh my days.
it's a pun, dude. You ever heard of the bees?
No.
Bruh.
Yeah, dude. No, for real. Look him up.
You can't see it,
I'm
but
not giving
boy.
that to you. You can hold that one. I'm not
On
giving that
me.
one to you.
You know what? I'm definitely gonna have to get a VTuber model so that y'all can see some sort of expressions.
I like the G costume. If I played G, I'd wear that costume. I'd make everyone online real mad at me.
I don't
Man,
know. So I
still
have
top
some
tier.
people do like the costume. I do like Seth's costume on the other hand.
Seth's costumes look pretty interesting. It has a vibe to it.
It's got the
Very interesting.
Middle Eastern vibe.
Yeah, it's sort of
I
like a
would say
belly
Indian, but it's
dancer.
Middle Eastern. Yeah, so it's the it looks a bit like Sinbad style female dancers of
Yeah,
the harem kind of looking thing.
it
Seth's got
looks
some hair.
like Seth
Got
is embracing their feminine side, I guess. So got that going.
Speaking of Seth though, and G as well. After the update after the balance update, it's interesting to see how these characters are still considered pretty strong, despite some
Yeah,
nerfs.
So
well,
G got nerfed already with this patch. From what I've seen and from what I've actually played, because I really haven't been touching Street Fighter 5 as much as I should have. G has been nerfed not to the ground, but to the shins, like to
To
the
the
kneecaps.
shins.
To the kneecaps. Like if you stand still for 5 seconds, you actually won't get command grab now. When you wake up, you're not landing in the command grab. So you can actually have options. G still does damage, don't get me wrong.
He still got the comeback factor off of V Trigger as well. In fact,
Oh, definitely.
it might be better if you have level 3 now before entering.
Yeah, but you have to get to level 3 before entering
That's true.
V trigger. So that's a decent trade-off, and I'll take it. Whereas,
right.
go on.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying. You think like these like nerfs, like they're still good. They're just like not super dominant. People are gonna be off of these characters again, and
I definitely
else.
don't think anyone will be switching off of Seth.
Yeah.
G, possibly. Seth,
See, I'm
even
the other
though
way around.
here's my thing
I'm
though.
the other way around. Go.
Seth lost some interesting things, like specifically the TK axe kick. Like,
Yeah,
there was a lot lost there. I still think
yeah.
Seth just has amazing normals. And while G does as well, Seth gets so much damage without having to worry about a level up system and just
That had
has a
every
DP, etc., etc. Like, Seth just
So
has so many things.
G had the schmicks
That's true.
back pre-patch.
So did Seth,
Post-patch,
though. Pre-patch, pre-patch Seth also had the tick throw everywhere. So I will
Oh
say
yeah,
that's something that changes a lot of the gameplay. If you were used to that, where you could just tick throw off of any light, and that was your
yeah.
mix, you don't get
that
that
tick
mid-screen
throw.
anymore.
That tick throw was super.
It was top tier privilege for sure. But
Although
that's the thing.
now, instead of getting the tick throw off everything, you get tick throw in the corner and mid-screen. If you don't go for tick throw, you get the check done with the crouching medium or the crouching light kick. And yeah, they got to hold that too. So it's a bit of a 50-50 now. I don't know.
This
I don't know how to feel
it's
about
still
that.
50-50. I don't think G and Seth player mains would change from what they were using previously, so they would still stick with Seth and G. The from what because the patch has been out for a few days now, for a couple of weeks even. Seth and G are not as strong as they previously were, obviously because of balancing changes. But they are still pretty damn strong, especially for players who may not play not professionally, but consistently. I'd say is probably a better term because I'm not a professional player, but I play consistently. I used to play consistently enough that I would know a matchup because I would lose to G's 24/7, right? G's again, for example, whoever played Street Fighter 5 pre-patch, they would know. You get G goes into V trigger, great, the game's over. I can barely win. I have to play keep away. I have to stay away. They get onto me. Well, I'm gonna get command grabbed and then go from one corner to the next.
Yeah, it's
And
like
in
Guess
this,
City.
it's Get City. It's the schmicks. G's sort of still has that now in the patch, post patch, but it's not as strong. So you have more of a chance to come back. So yes, whilst these characters were neutralized, actually no, neutralized is a harsher term. They were brought down to everyone's level. So being shot
Somewhat.
at the kneecap, they are still damn strong.
Yeah. Well,
I
I think
think
that's
it's
good.
interesting though that some characters that weren't strong got some bringing down, and some characters that were around the that were some other characters got brought up, which is what the balance has changed up more. Such as Alex has been brought up to a much more powerful level, where before he was in contention for bottom character between
He was
him
bottom
and
three.
Snash. Yeah, there was
Him, Nash, and Ed
Balrog
were the
has
bottom.
become infamously known as Native 4 in Brian F's chat, for example. And
Now people
Well,
are saying Balrog's
Balrog
top
was always
tier.
privileged.
that's
So
true.
Well, so
I'm just excited to see what's going to change, like with the CPT coming up, and we're going to have all the pro players, all the big names. They're going to be competing, and we'll see how they change up their gameplay. I always look forward to like post patch pro play, see how everything changes.
yeah,
Indeed.
because that is when you notice the balances, right? Balances settle the dust. Everyone's gotten used to their characters. They've labbed out certain scenarios with new features because obviously we've got the feature system in there now.
V
Um,
shift.
V shift, get that slowdown, that blue stuff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not speaking Tekken,
The Ultra Instinct.
but no, the UI. Let's go. No, what I want to talk about with this Pro Tour, and a question to you both first, because we need some preamble. Did you actually watch the 2020 Capcom Pro Tour finals?
I wasn't into Street Fighter much at all before recently this year, actually, since it has crossplay and I've been playing more with people in the Discord, and a lot of people in the Discord play on PC. So, no. In fact,
Okay, that's a no.
I'm gonna need a refresher with Capcom Pro Finals. Is that the one that IDOM won?
No, so that was 2019.
Okay. Yeah, no,
So
then
we
I did not watch the finals. I'm gonna be honest. I
there
guess
we
I
go.
was.
See, that is the thing. So obviously, to catch everyone up, 2020, the year coronavirus hit the world, the
Yeah,
global pandemic. Street Fighter and other fighting games went online with their pro tours as required because no one could meet each other offline.
yeah,
Capcom Pro Tour went online. They did their different regions. We've already discussed and shown how we've shown like discussed sorry how well they've listened and how they've adapted the protocol for this year, 2021, to include more regions and separate the regions out so that more players can get involved. The issue with the Pro Tour 2020 was that it was going to be held in the DR, Dominican Republic, on a holiday site, and it was going to be safe and it was secure, so no one could catch COVID. However, that didn't happen. And what happened instead was that you get exhibition matches of basically the region finalists to play where they could. And whilst these matches were great and amazing, I did not have the same hype or expectation to sit there and watch it live. Not
Yeah.
like I would say an Evo or an actual Capcom Pro Tour where I done won for your example, D, or even when Problem X won Evo. I stayed up overnight because obviously UK to US hours is horrible. This was this year just gone 2020 because it was only in February that they held it. Where I goes, okay, well, I actually don't feel like staying up to watch this exhibition match because whilst yes, you technically have a winner, but it's not something that it's not a competition as such. It's not top 32, top 64. It's here's some exhibition matches. Technically a round robin format, I guess, and then here's your winner with really not much fanfare afterwards.
Yeah, it's really hard to take online seriously. Like it's like we want to, but it's such a deviation from how. Yeah, it's
Yes,
mm,
it is.
yeah, it's yeah, it's kind of crazy how night and day some of these games can, like on some games like Skullgirl, I can play across the world. I'm playing with those, I mean, it's kind of bad, but it's on the other side of the world. I can't even load up BB Tag and play that with someone in Miami, and I'm in Orlando. Like they have
Speaking
to
of
be in my
Filipinos, shout out
house.
to Jollibee.
So Street Fighter is somewhere in the middle of that. It's not good. No one's gonna say it's good, but it's not super terrible. So it's like it's
It's not
really
the worst.
inconsistent. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I can play Street Fighter. I'll play with people in Texas, and sometimes it'll be absolutely fine, and then other times, it is garbage. And I feel like that's a lot of the problem with people on the CBT, and they get really fed up. Is like you just can't have good connections with certain people. Like even like people be complaining about, oh, IDOM's got like a bad connection. I don't like playing them, but it's like play other people fine and super inconsistent, and that makes it hard to take the competition seriously because like like it's not like pure competition because sometimes it just feels like you're not trying to fight the Capcom Cup champion, you're trying to find his connection too, and then
It's not their issue. It's an issue with the net code. There's the word. I don't know how I
server,
forgot
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You
the
know,
server,
net
the
code.
CFN.
yeah,
Like
it's not
people
a lot of
have
the time.
complained. Like there was a tournament this last week, so pretty recently, where grand finals had to be decided by a flip of a coin because the grand finals matches were kept on disconnecting from the CFN servers,
You're
and it
joking.
was through no fault
No
of their
joke.
own from each player. They had basically said like we can't play this. Every time we try a match, we get in there, and it's basically if you've played Plus R recently, a desync, and you drop out.
Mm, yeah,
So
that's
there is nothing you can do about that because it's the netcode slash the server at fault. whilst yes, these games, these fighting games, Street Fighter 5 in particular, is peer to peer, which means that you connect directly to your opponent. There is somewhat of a middle ground where you get the server, especially spectators, where if your connection isn't that great and the netcode can't handle it, and there's too much variation, yeah, you can get kicked out of a match, even if you are the one playing against the opponent.
And funnily enough, especially with spectators, you'll notice that there's always going to be delay still, especially with the spectators watching, where the people are already fighting their match and the spectator is going to be a few seconds behind. And it's especially bad, for example, with the crossplay, where people will be already out of their games and you're still loading. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to take a short break here before we move on, just to recoup, etc.
Yeah, time for a drink of water. Quick 60-second break.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Well,
Run
60
that
seconds, 2 minutes. Man, if I had an ad to run.
you got to commission someone to create a 60-second advert for you so you can hit play.
Man.
Be the professional that you're supposed to be, Synder. You can strive to be that. Trust me.
Put up a Waku Waku ad.
No.
This guy,
just because you're a degenerate.
No, I'm
just because you're a degenerate. I'm gonna mute your ass. But let's have a look. You know what would be nice, Twitch, if you told me how long left of a 1 minute ad I had left.
Get a timer.
There we go. 1 minute ad finished. But yeah, everyone hopefully had their waters, had their drink, their beverages. Cinder's playing music with some background music for us.
Taco Bell mango tea, delicious. Would recommend.
See, I've never had Taco Bell. I've never actually had Taco Bell, so I think the UK definitely has some locations now, but obviously COVID, I've not been leaving the house to get Taco Bell.
Yeah, I don't live next to it. I always wear my mask when I go through the drive-thru. I go through the drive-thru, I have my mask on, and then they have all their precautions they do.
Yeah. Right. Let me see. Whilst Cinder's getting his Taco Bell drink order in.
Look, sir, I want to got some fruit punch.
A fruit punch? That's fine.
Indeed. What? But no. Could you guys hear the music well? Just to be sure.
It came in bits and pieces.
It was probably the noise gate. A bit next time.
Yeah.
But if you guys could hear it well, that was Fearless from the Melty Blood soundtrack. That was Shiki Nanayo's theme, I believe.
Melty Blood soundtrack is a bop.
It is indeed.
You fucking weebs.
Brother, don't you play Guilty Gear? Don't you play Grand Blue?
Don't know what you mean. No?
No? Oh, okay. I hear cap out your mouth.
I've not touched Grand Blue since the beginning of the first DLC they released.
Mm-hmm. Now y'all go back in the stream earlier when he said his boy Grand got the normal size Timbs on.
Oh yeah,
that was season 1 patch. That was
Okay.
season 1 patch.
Okay.
I've not touched Grand Blue since. I actually forgot it's on my PS4. I wanted to buy it for my PC, but I'm not spending another $200 just to get everything.
That's right.
And that's no cap.
That game is expensive.
So unless someone wants to sponsor me to buy it for PC, you're not seeing Grand Blue anytime. Bless you.
Taco Bell sponsor Drift.
Excuse me, sorry. But no, let's get a move on. So next up,
Yeah.
we've got Project Ale news, y'all. The
Baby,
Well, you want
I
that?
game
love
everyone says isn't coming out.
All right. So preamble for this, for everyone that don't know, Project L is Riot Games. So Riot, who make League of Legends and Valorant, and some other card game I can't remember right now, and Teamfight Tactics. They do a lot of stuff.
Runeterra.
They are making a fighting game. Runeterra, thank you very much, T. They are making a fighting game that is codenamed Project L. And last we heard of this, back God knows how long, probably 4 years ago now.
At least a year or two, yeah. I don't want to say 3 or
Yeah.
4, but it's been at least a
Yeah.
year.
At least a year, at most 3 or 4 years. Riot have some news of Project L have come through.
Yeah.
Is this from like the horse's mouth, or is this like sort of like a rumor?
It's from the horse's mouth. Riot has sent out some invites for playtests to different players.
Okay.
Here's the screenshot of the email right here. The
Yeah.
gist of it is that.
I'm just going to read this out.
All right.
So, greetings. Thank you for taking the time to play Riot Games titles. We will be running in-person playtest sessions in the greater Los Angeles area and think you might be a good fit to participate. If you're interested, please fill out the survey below. The survey link is unique to you, so please do not share it with anyone else. As always, no screenshots or captions of the survey are allowed. Please note that filling out this form doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot. If selected, you will be contacted directly for scheduling. Please get the link below to start the survey. So this gentleman who shared this screenshot already is going to hold some L's, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's,
he might not get to play. But
Probably
we
not.
all appreciate him, Mr. Skelly Boy.
That's
we all
true.
appreciate
I
him.
appreciate sharing this news. So yes, the only project I didn't want to class this as news because this is no news. But the fact that Riot Games is saying, hey, we're not inviting known fighting game players. We're inviting Riot Games players to try it out.
That was something I was interested in. Yeah, are they inviting Riot Games players or fighting game players? Those are two very different crowds.
There's a lot of fighting game players in SoCal. I mean,
but
true.
Famous.
Yeah, like that's what. Are they gonna get like double lift to play a fighting game, or
yeah? Let's get TSM on Project L. Let's go.
I think Dyrus
Honestly,
plays
that
Eunice,
wouldn't be. You say that, but TSM wouldn't be the most outrageous thing. Leffen is on TSM.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
I mean,
no. We'll see. Obviously, I will caveat this because whoever watched this may come from my head when I say famous fighting game players. Obviously, famous being that are well known in the fighting game community doesn't mean that they could be good players. They could be quite rubbish players and just have a large social media following. I will say names, but you can guess. You can put your own names to that list. But yeah, inviting
Omega, come on, Chief. He's actually good.
But yeah, inviting, I would say, casual players, because Riot Games people that play Riot Games are of two camps: either try-hard League of Legends players, or people that play casually and just dabble in a lot of genres,
or
not just
they
Riot
try
Games.
hard Valorant players now.
Why are you calling me out?
You thought I was gonna let you sit there? You thought I was gonna just let you do that?
Yeah.
No,
Bro.
I'm coming for everybody.
Air my dirty laundry out like that. But yeah, so the try-hard players and the casual players. Skilled Roy, who shared out the screenshot, he may be of either camp. I don't know who he is. He apparently has social media, he has a YouTube, so go Google him and have a look. But if he is interested or not, or if he gets selected or not, sorry, is a different matter. But this is some non-news in my opinion. Riot Games doing testing. So yes, that's some good news. Riot Games has developed enough of an engine and fighting game for playtesting to be done, but we are still not seeing characters, mechanics, actual fights. We're not seeing anything. Riot is very tight-lipped about this project.
Yeah. It's like we've gotten absolutely nothing. I've been I wouldn't say like I'm hyped. It could just be like a bad fighting game, so I'm not like getting my hopes up. But I've been super interested in seeing literally anything. I
But why?
okay, so I fall into
Said,
the
but
camp.
why?
I fall into the camp of the guy who's perhaps tried a little bit too hard to play League of Legends.
You're one of those
And
people.
yeah,
Just a little
yeah,
bit, brother. Just a little bit.
I,
You can
I,
tell the truth here. I tried quite a bit
uh,
hard playing Overwatch when it was my main game.
I probably have like over 5,000 hours in League of
Let the
Legends.
truth be
How much have you
known.
spent?
I
Over 5,000. How much have you spent?
okay, I've spent under $300
There you
to be
go.
fair. For a game that I've played for since 2013, that's we're around 8 years now.
That's
Uh,
respectable. That's respectable.
I I recently stopped playing League of Legends for good, hopefully, for my mental
How
health.
clean are
But
you right now? How many days are we counting?
I don't know. It's not installed on my computer, but I
Mm,
will say I kind of miss the characters. I really love the characters in that game,
the
and my new
draws are
love
coming
now.
back.
Yeah, no, I really love fighting games now, so that's my new love here. But it would be really
Loves
really cool
Waku
to
Waku
have.
7.
Yeah, it would be cool to have those old characters I used to play in League of Legends in like a fighting game. So like that's
Okay,
why
I'm
it's
gonna
gonna be
hold you up
cool.
there. I am gonna stop you right there
Yeah,
because obviously Riot had three projects on the go, two of
yeah,
which are now released. One of them
hmm
was a card game.
right.
The second one was Valorant,
Yeah, I've
and
been
the third
playing
one
that.
is Project L. Yeah.
Y-
Whilst Riot showed a pre-alpha, or I'm gonna say pre-alpha footage of Project L, the fighting
mm,
game, and used League of Legends skins.
mm,
I still feel, and I will argue this. I won't argue this. I will stand by this point for
mhm.
till the game comes out and I'm proven wrong. That it's not going to be using League of Legends champions as characters in a fighting game.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
What do you think
I
it's
mean,
gonna be? Because I'm pretty sure we've seen some,
uh, yeah,
That's
some
what I
maybe.
little
mean.
tra
So you've seen pre-alpha footage on, and that is just a skin over a wireframe of
Mm,
a character for a fighting game. Like you could have turned around and said Valorant was going to be the League of Legends shooter, and a lot of
Yeah,
people
interesting.
did think that at the time. And like, oh, I'm going to play as have an Ari skin and have Ari abilities to shoot in a shooting game.
yeah.
Interesting.
But
So you
Valorant
think
turned
it's
around and
gonna
came out
be
and said, "Look, we're using different characters with a whole new story and world, and it's pretty
okay,
decent. I like it. But
okay,
Project L, whilst it used the Ari as a skin for the wireframe, it doesn't mean by the beta or by release that they're going to use League of Legends characters as a fighting game in a fighting game.
I think it would
interesting. That's
be
quite the take. Some
yeah.
people will call that a hot take,
It
even.
is it is pretty hot. Pretty hot.
But I think
As
that'll
hot as
be
Taco Bell,
interesting to see how that comes out.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It'd be kind of like weird for them to kind of back out and then decide they want to make like an original IP. Because I'm gonna be honest, fighting games don't have like a big mass appeal right now. It's kind of like a small market compared to first person shooters. So like you
it
come out
never
with a
had a
first
big
person.
market.
Yeah,
Yeah, you come out with a first person shooter and people are gonna play because they're just looking for an alternative to Counter Strike or whatever.
they're looking
For a
for an
PUBG.
fighting game,
alternative to the hundreds of games out there. They started out with
yeah,
Call of Duty. They want to branch out. They play Battlefield. They want to branch out some more. They try your Halos. They branch out some more. They try your Rainbow Six, your Overwatch, your Counter Strike, your Valorant, etc., etc. There's plenty of
yeah,
shooters to try all the time. But
that is a gold mine.
yes, and while there is a lot of fighting games you can try, it's not as easy to just find them per se
Mm-hmm.
for someone new to the genre. That is.
It's like so League of Legends is a huge IP. It's the most popular game in the world, or at least it was. I'm not sure if it still is. And
I'm pretty sure it
like
still is.
just pulling like League of Legends players to a fighting game, because fighting game players are already going to play the game. Like if you play like we play Street Fighter in here, we play Guilty Gear, whatever. A new fighting game comes out, yeah, I'll try that shit. They're like, we don't really care. But like to get new people over, people who play League of Legends, that might get them. Whereas like
Indeed.
if they just release Riot Games Fantasy Strike, that just might be like a dud. You know, like
Ooh,
We're going with the Yomi counter now? We're actually going with
no.
the Yomi counter?
Don't
Is that
even.
what we're saying?
Let's not wish that upon anyone, please. But no, speaking briefly on popular games, I think League of Legends probably is definitely top three. I still think because of its existence and how strong it is and has such a hold on the market, Fortnite is probably the biggest game in the world right now.
hmm
And I
but
know
It is, yeah.
whenever I check Twitch, it's always right up there. Good
Oh, for
old
sure. No, League
Fortnite.
of Legends will always have that draw and appeal for a lot of people to watch and play it. I mean, whilst he has spent 5 million hours playing League of Legends, and I've only spent
exactly
5.
happening.
As a casual player, I'm not a tryhard for League of Legends. As a
Mhm.
casual player, it was fun,
Yeah.
especially with a group of friends. Playing solo queue can get fucked.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I switched over to fighting games. I really got tired of the other 4 people on my team. Uh,
You weren't carrying hard enough, dude. That was all it was.
I'm a
Carry harder,
support
brother.
main. What am I supposed to carry?
I don't know, brother. I don't know how
Carry
that game
yourself,
works.
carry your team,
I'm
carry the
trying
other
so
team.
hard, but now hopefully I can sit there and I can play the League of Legends fighting game. I can just play Nami, or I'm probably gonna be like oh, dude, that's gonna be so bad. There's like 150 characters in League of Legends. They release a fighting game with like it's gonna be
With
like,
5.
where's Melina? Where, where's Zach?
That's what we
Where's Lee
call
Sin?
DLC content, brother. But no,
And this is why I don't think they'll
I
use
think the League of Legends game is gonna function on a model similar to Brawlhalla. Which by
Like
which I
what,
mean there
free to
will be
play?
free to play X characters on rotation per week. You can buy the characters with in-game currency.
I think Killer Instinct did that. Killer
Yeah,
Instinct.
so
Yeah.
don't you mean the original Killer Instinct did that? I say the original Killer Instinct, the original Xbox One
We
Killer Instinct.
not see a lot of free to play models in fighting games. Like there's always been like these kind of half measures. Like I think Street Fighter
They
tried and then
do
they
you
just
can buy your
forgot about it.
characters with currency, but the game still costs money.
The game
Yeah.
costs money, and unless they do like Sony does their free weekends where you get this game to play for the weekend, that's the only ever time you get to play it to test out a fighting game, and even then
Yeah.
it's just Street Fighter.
So like that would be a super big strength of Project L when it comes out. If it's like runs on PC, it's like a PC based fighting game and it's free to play, has a big IP. It's gonna be really easy to just convince people to try it, right? And it's gonna be a fun game. And hopefully they're like what the Cannon brothers are working on it. So it's gonna have good net code. So it all that looks really good. Just a matter of will the game be good?
And will we be able to test it much?
Yeah.
That's a really
No, you
interesting
got
question for me. Are they testing? Is the testing gonna be with Riot players or fighting game players? But
I think
so.
we can move past that for now and get on to our last big topic, which is huge news. Is Evo, boys.
It's coming back.
Evo, as we know from last year, Evo suffered some big things going on between some troublesome community members, but they have their message to us right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and read it out for
Community
us.
members, bro, it was the owner. I will
Yeah,
give you my best voice and read this out for you yet again.
this guy.
Evo would not be possible without the collective passion and collaboration of the fighting game community. and we're deeply grateful for your dedication over the last 25 years. We know last year was challenging due to the pandemic and the circumstances surrounding the cancellation of EVO Online, involving a former team member who has been completely separated from our company. We want to reaffirm the harassment. We have to tell you about this. That's out. We want to affirm that harassment or abuse of any kind has no place within EVO or any of our future events, and we're taking every precaution to make sure members of our community will always be treated with the respect, dignity, and decency you deserve. In order to deliver on the trust you have all put in EVO, we realize that we need an experienced strategic partner who truly respects the spirit of the FGC. This is why we're excited to announce that EVO has become part of the joint partnership of Sony Interactive Entertainment and RTS. The new partnership is committed to bringing amazing tournaments and competitive gaming experiences back to you this year and beyond. We're thrilled to work with the teams at PlayStation and RTS to bring EVO 2021 online this August. More information on the event will follow. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your continued support, Tony and Tom Cannon.
And as we can see here from the Markman mentions it as well. In very important note, EVO is still open to all platforms. The teams at PlayStation and RTS are enabling us to continue working with our community to support fighting games. So don't worry, everybody. Smash is safe. However, Nintendo said they will be assessing their opportunities.
That's a very Nintendo thing to say.
That's a very, we don't think we're going to be letting EVO play Nintendo games to me.
Nintendo kind of like operates on their own wavelength, and
they do what they want.
Yeah, nothing they do makes
Nintendo
sense.
doesn't care about the competitive portion.
No.
So
no,
they definitely do not. But from EVO's own website, what's good, Spicy? What's good, JN? Thank you for coming through. EVO's own website, evo.gg. The Evolution Championship Series returns with EVO 2021 online across 2 weekends, August 6th to 8th and August 13th to 15th. Join the best of the best in 3 online regional tournaments for Guilty Gear Strive on PS4 and PS5.
Yes, sir.
Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, PS4 and PS5.
Yes, sir.
Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, PS4, PS5, and PC. And Tekken 7 PC to celebrate the fighting game community.
And all as they've mentioned, there will be
EVO. Stay tuned for more game announcements. So there might be more games coming, but what they have already announced is that there is no Smash, like we just mentioned, because Nintendo don't want to deal with EVO. But also, being PS4 and PS5 on the majority of these games, Tekken 7, which is already available on PlayStation, is only going to be played on PC at EVO this year.
I don't blame them. Have you seen the PlayStation load times?
Yes, I have. I have made cups of teas and come back to play my match.
Top 8 would be 4 hours, and 2 of those hours would be loading.
I mean, have you seen Smash? Have you watched Smash?
I mean, Smash. We don't talk about Smash.
Come on, Chief. Ichi would be disappointed with us.
Talk about Smash Online. That's a whole nother animal.
But no, let's talk about the Tekken PC specifically. We all know the real reason this is occurring. Netcode.
What is
the
real
reason?
times
are terrible, yes, but the netcode for Tekken is not good enough to support an online infrastructure. Similar to Street Fighter, it is botched. They claim it's rollback. We're gonna go with what Harada said real quick. In a theoretical world, Tekken 7 is rollback. I don't believe it is
free,
but we'll believe. Yeah, we'll believe it. We'll believe what Harada said. Tekken 7 has rollback briefly. It is just as bad, if not a worse implementation than Street Fighter 5. Let's get that out of the way. So because of this, they've decided that Tekken 7, they're gonna play it, but it's gonna be PC only. That's a big thing. That ensures a lot more wires. It also ensures a lot better load times, a lot better infrastructure, etc. Hopefully that works out well. I imagine they've done some light testing with this, but we'll have to see how it goes.
they could what might work. I don't think they do this for, but I know the Soul Calibur guys. They like Cloud Parsec. Apparently works better. I'm assuming I don't know for sure, but like I'm assuming Soul Calibur and Tekken are on like similar net code. Not
Well,
good.
I don't think the Soul Calibur guys have claimed they have rollback, so
No, they have not. But they use Parsec, and apparently that's like a lot better. I don't know if Evo would use like some sort of third party like that. It's not modifying the game in any way. It's not like Slippy, right?
yeah.
Where they
No,
would
that's true. That's true.
where it'd be like a
They
potential lawsuit.
they may use Parsec possibly just to even out regions or make it more balanced, or sorry, make it more equal for regions to compete against each other. Because obviously they are breaking it down by regions, much like Capcom Pro Tour is, but Evo is doing the same thing over these 2 weekends for these few games that they've announced at the moment. I'm interested to see what they do. I am glad Evo is back. I am not worried that Sony is now the basically owner of
Yeah.
Evo overall,
Yeah.
because it's still ran by the Cannon brothers, Tom and who we've just spoken about, who are helping out create Project L, who
And
basically are working.
I'm actually not even concerned that PlayStation owns it for multiple reasons. For one, what you just said, but for two, PlayStation has been supporting the FGC a lot over the years. They run
Since PS3.
Yeah, they run under night tournaments all the time. They run MK tournaments. Like if you just look at the community tabs on PlayStation, for example, they support the FGC a lot. So I've never had the moment they said PlayStation, I said, "Oh, thank goodness, someone who actually is gonna support us, not someone who's here for the money." Because the PlayStation has been supporting the FGC for years, which is great to see. Like
Yeah,
even right now, if I go check, fairly sure. I
Whilst you go
just
check what
missed
you
it.
got, D.
no, I get it. I get wanting to keep the suits at arm's length. You know, you don't want them messing around with grassroots or whatever. But Evo is already kind of just like E3 for fighting games. It wasn't like super homegrown or anything. It was in a
Yeah.
big stadium. It's already like the suits. You know what I mean? So Sony owning that, I think, is not a bad thing. And like you said, yeah, they sponsor fighting game events all the time. They're constantly kind of like doing tournaments and stuff for honestly a small community, not a lot of money in it. I
Yeah.
think Evo is gonna be
Sony's
fine.
is a big supporter of the FGC, and as well as you just said, dang it, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say
I'm
something
jumping
great.
in then.
Oh, that's what it
Whilst you're
was.
trying to find that train, I don't care, Synder. It's my turn now. Shut up.
Omega.
Got him.
Got him. No, Sony is supporting the FGC. They have been doing it for so long. Yes. People complaining about grassroots. Yep, again, I agree. Evo was never really grassroots. It's held in a stadium, held in a event arena. But yeah, Sony being Sony and having supported the FGC for so long, however big or small it has done so, they obviously think there is some return of investment um, for this. Speaking in business terms, a company as large as Sony, or any business that is on the stock market or trying to be profitable and earn profit, they would never look at investing in something unless they were getting something out of it in return. So whilst I have joked and memed that, all right, sorry guys, no one's getting a PS5 now because they're all reserved for Evo when it goes back offline, and that may actually be a prize for an Evo winner this coming year, where you win the tournament, you win a PS5. That'd be hilarious. Um, Sony obviously think there is something worthwhile in our community to say, yes, we want to support you. It's not just because we like fighting games or that we like video games in general, but there must be something to say you're not going to the full extent. And whilst part of me is skeptical and be wary of being taken advantage of, as everyone should be, Sony haven't done us wrong yet. They have offered they've got the co-sponsorship, co-ownership of Street Fighter 5 because it is a PlayStation only exclusive and has been for so long. And they haven't screwed us out of it yet, which is excellent. And keeping Microsoft at bay with your Xboxes. But obviously, whilst it is still on PC, the tournament standard is a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation in general.
Yeah, I think Sony like benefits from just having it's sort of it's like they have a monopoly on the FGC. Like no one's playing Street Fighter on Xbox, right?
Because they can't.
Yeah, like it's you can't, and like everyone, all our sticks are PlayStations, all our games are like PlayStation exclusive. Then you get the PC port a year later. Uh,
And even for the
and
games
True.
that are on Xbox, like unless they're an exclusive like KI, they're still usually played on PlayStation mostly.
yeah, and I think PlayStation wants to keep that influence. However small it is, it's like they've got this corner. But
I want to see what they do for this generation of consoles and fighting games. But Street Fighter 5 is in its last year. Dragon Ball Fighters is also technically in its last year.
yeah,
Something is coming on the horizon, and Sony wants to be there for it. Is what I think they're trying to do. My bigger concern was obviously the enemy we don't know. I say the enemy, the team we don't know, because we obviously know about Sony and Sony Interactive is TS. And I've had this page on my stream for quite some time whilst we've been talking about this. But just to give everyone a heads up, or just to read what is also already on the EVO website on the press release page about RTS. RTS is a new esports venture backed by investors, including global entertainment, sports, and content company Endeavor. With expertise spanning esports event management, brand, and developer consulting and gaming talent management, RTS is led by CEO Stuart Saw, previously Endeavor's SVP of esports. And so I had to dig about this. I actually had a little dig around for all this information. Not about RTS, well, actually, mainly about RTS because I was like, actually, who is RTS? Like, we know who Sony is, and they are the demon we know, right? There's no concern about who they are, what they do, unless someone tells me otherwise right now. Anyone?
No?
No? Cool. Endeavor, who I'm just going to load up on my stream here, and I'll stick it in chat for everyone else. Like they have said on the Evo press release, they are a talent company for different teams as such. And having a look, they actually have the right to stream UFC.
oh,
So they've got the NBA, UFC, NFL, WWE,
so
Univision Communications Inc., and EFL, whoever those last two are. But four of those names we all know: NBA, UFC, NFL, WWE.
that's those are some big hitters.
There are some big ass names, and this is just Endeavor. This isn't RTS. So obviously they've had some consulting. RTS is a name for something. I'm not sure what. They haven't told us yet.
Real time.
That is a gaming term.
Got him.
Within the fighting games, we're not sure. So there may
That would
be
be pretty
strategy
funny.
here for sure. That would be hilarious, and there'll probably be the case of them calling themselves RTS because of real time strategy, because they are technically apparently strategy experts.
Mm.
For brand and developing, consulting, and gaming talent management, that is all within strategy, right? And the CEO of RTS was previously SVP, so Senior Vice President of Esports for Endeavor. So they know what they're doing. And
This is
with
esports.
esports.
Okay.
So with
Yeah.
that background and with this, basically his previous company's technology and knowledge that he's built, we should probably expect Evo to have a grand stream or setup at least. Whilst this does concern me slightly, well, they may be the overlords of Evo's streaming content now
Yeah.
going forward. That's perfectly fine. That may happen. Um, but obviously, the smaller guys that are making it out there, but I say the smaller guys, the more well-known people within the FGC community, FG fighting game community, not the FGC community, but like guys like 10-0, Bifuteki, Mr. Lord himself, Team Spooky,
Yeah.
they'll probably get roped into helping Eva out as they always do because they do an amazing job. And shout outs to them because they never get enough love. Like they get their thanks, but people don't understand how hard it is to produce, stream, set up, host a tournament over a weekend. It is 2 weeks worth of hell. I've been helping out here and there, but it is some madness these guys go through. So if you ever see them, buy them a drink, buy them food, tell them thanks. Say if you see Honzo, say hi, be nice to him. He's a good guy.
Yeah. That's a big thing too. Like we have a lot of great homegrown talent. A lot of people put a lot of love and care into these scenes, and that's like my biggest concern for this kind of thing. Like Evo's the biggest event of the year. It's how a lot of these guys they get checks there. I'm worried because I follow a lot of esports, and when they get these big esports companies like your ESLs and like that, they like to hire their own guys. So I'm worried that a lot of our dudes and dudettes that we've had casting over the years, like Spooky and Tino and all those guys, they might get pushed aside for some random suit, like the esports guys. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my CS:GO commentators, but you see this all the time. You'll have people jump from game to game. They're just commentating to commentate, and they don't really care about the scene that much. So I hope that doesn't happen at Evo. I hope we still have the same guys, and I hope with this new um partnership that they start getting paid a little better.
That's
Uh,
See, that's the thing. I think everyone forgets. Whilst we do this for the love of
mhm,
the community and we love doing what we do, like myself included, I take photographs. I'm a photographer. Fighting games is my passion,
mhm,
not graphic design, as I mean. But the photos I take, I do it because I enjoy it and I love the community. I would love to be paid, and I have been paid to cover fighting game events.
yeah,
But to increase that paycheck and have a Nasdaq or even a FTSE 100 or some big ass company that's on the stock market saying we're footing the bill, you get paid. I'm down for that.
yeah,
What we sell, what we have to give up for it though, is a different question, and that's what I'm wary of.
yeah,
And like you
yeah,
said, if the teams we already know are pushed aside for teams that RTS or SIE are already aware of and work with, lose these contracts and bids, I will be sad
yeah,
because yes, so actually coming back to grassroots, it's not the grassroots of the event; it's the grassroots of people who help out. If the people that help out stay helping out and get paid for it, I'm all for it. If they get pushed aside for more suits that don't know the industry or the game, then it's just going to fall flat on its face.
yeah. They didn't put in the work. They weren't out here, grinding like
Grind
street.
aside,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have I've worked with people before. I've worked with James Banks. I was hesitant. I was say hesitant to say his name, but I had to think of his name there. James Banks. He was not part of the fighting game community. He slid in
Mhm,
and started and helped host one of the EGXs here in the UK.
mhm,
Whilst it was his first time helping out at a fighting game event, he has stuck around and tried to stay within, not well, I say relevant, but stay knowledgeable within our community, which is excellent. Whilst he commentates CS:GO primarily
mhm.
and Valorant now, he has still got an interest and love for fighting games, and that is apparent when he's like when you speak to him or when you hear him speak about fighting games in general, which
Yeah,
is what we want. Having random, I say random, but having tastosis, like tasteless and narcosis from StarCraft scene from South Korea, suddenly commentate Street Fighter, for example, may be a bit weird. They are still professionals, and yes, they are professionals, and they will deliver a certain aspect that Sony and RTS would expect. It's not what the community would want or need. Actually, no, want. I wouldn't say need. It may be what the community needs. I don't know that, but what the community wants, and that will drive viewership down, and Sony in the red.
Yeah, like
That's my business brain off.
you definitely want to get what you already have because we have so many talented commentators.
When Sage Jam for CPT.
Sage Jam for CPT, man, did the boy dirty. But no, I'm pulling it up really quickly. A tweet from Aru that speaks to a very similar thing to what you're saying. Evo will inevitably have to dip into the community's talent pool to help run the event. And since we know the motherfuckers got money now, we should all work together to get paid better for our help and expertise. And I think that speaks very close to home to what you're saying in that the FGC, at least compared to some other esports, has never been paid exactly on that same level despite all the effort we put in.
Not paid well either, if we have been paid.
Yeah. And now that we know that we can expect some big pockets now, to say the least, with Sony behind it, Endeavor, RTS. It's important to look to see if we can get some of that more esports money that we've been missing out on. Because Evo is the esports of the FGC. It's the most esports event we have, always has been.
True.
And that's fine. That's fine. I don't really have a problem with esports at all. It's just I don't want everything. It's nice to have that outlet. That like that's the most watched tournament. That's what's going to get the most eyes. And to be honest, I wouldn't play fighting games if it wasn't for Evo, because that's how I first saw that there were fighting games that people were playing. I was like, oh hey, this looks cool. Yeah, I'll try this fighter. I'll play this game.
That's true. That is very true. I think I think I'm the same. I somewhat was the same. I joined the Street Fighter 4 vanilla, and before I watched Evo. So that's my introduction to fighting games officially, really. But I just had a thought, because back in 2017, 2016, because obviously I've been editing some photos on my stream here of fighting game events. There are a few commentators wearing shirts and ties. This was before James Banks joined in, but basically the fighting game community going a bit more proper and suit-like. I say proper in inverted commas there, but everyone was wearing shirts, and we come full circle really, where we tried wearing the commentators tried wearing shirts and looked more professional. No one really enjoyed it and went back to wearing their own fashion, like styles. I see Tasty Steve. If you saw Steve in beads, if you saw him in a shirt and tie, would you be comfortable seeing him like that?
As long as he still had the beads, I'd be okay with it. If Tasty Steve loses the beads, it won't be the same, brother.
I think Steve would be comfortable. That suit would
That's
be
fair.
Like
That's what exactly. That's you have an actress suit, and people that aren't comfortable in what they wear will always perform poorly. You have chosen poorly.
Just that, or like how they talk, like people themselves. You imagine you see in these esports commentators, like, oh, they're going down ramp on the C train. We've got excellent showing. It's kind of like news anchory. I sort of like just like people themselves. They're sort of like,
There's some variance
to an
there.
extent.
There's definitely some variance as far as the news anchoring thing. I think the news anchoring thing is apparent when it's people hopping around from scene to scene, just commentating. But the people who stick within their scene are always have a bit of have some flair, some personality,
some color.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Which is always good to see. I think it'll depend on who is done for what. Like you'll be able to tell who has passion and who doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, even people in the fighting games, around a lot. Like you guys play Mortal Kombat? You know Ketchup, right? Ketchup and mustard.
Ketchup
Yeah.
mustard, good guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't remember which one. I think it's Ketchup. He's he's does commentary for the Quake Pro League. So he's
He
doing
does indeed.
FPS as well. And so he's well versed. I can imagine somebody from Quake League or any sort of game, they can definitely come over FGC commentary. I think what matters the most is if they're passionate about what they're doing rather than like whether they don't have to play fighting games their whole life, you know what I mean?
Oh no, God no, no.
Yeah,
They don't need to be. All we're trying to say is they don't need to be stiff-lipped and be proper. Whilst
yeah,
yes, we don't
yeah,
swear on commentary because we are trying to be family friendly and orientate to everyone involved,
yeah,
and swearing is not part of the vocabulary, especially for entertaining other, trying to get more sponsorships out of different companies or from different companies.
yeah,
Um, if you have the passion, if you have the feeling, I say feeling with a fist on the stream. Um, yeah, if you have that passion and you can display it while commentating a game, you are always more liked than
yeah.
than someone being a news anchor and reading off a teleprompter.
Yeah, I think that's
Indeed.
the biggest thing. It all goes hand in hand. Like I think you just the more money gets thrown into FGs, you don't want people just in it for the money. That's the
True.
people who aren't passionate and then they'll just, basically autopilot their commentary. It'll have less soul to it. And I think that's what people are afraid of. Like with this company, they think that it'll take the grassroots. They're afraid it'll take the soul out of fighting games. Let's say take the grassroots out of Evo. There is no grassroots in Evo, but it like sets a precedent. If you can buy Evo, like what else are you gonna buy? Are you gonna buy Combo Breaker next? Are you gonna buy are we gonna go to like the LCS, but it's gonna be all invitational. They're going to be Justin Wong versus Daigo. I feel like people are kind of like
All fighting
afraid.
games are being bought. We're only doing invitational tournaments across teams. All
Yeah,
players will be bought onto certain teams.
I mean, fighting game community has already sort of tried this. We've got fighting game teams. We've got Team EG, Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, we've
We
got
have other
Beast
teams
Coast as
available.
well. There's a
East
couple
Coast.
teams out there.
We've gone Invitational. We've gone Street Fighter Pro League,
yeah.
SFL, Street Fighter League as well. We've gone Pro Tour. We've
And those
gone the esports route. We're already there. People that say we've lost grassroots is what you make it, and that's the events you
yeah,
support,
I
local or otherwise.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like I think those are good. I think like invitationals, big esports events, like big streams, big production. That's great. Love that. I love E League on ESPN. That's cool. I think it's
Indeed.
just like our biggest stuff and what everyone cares about is like combo breaker. Is very much not that. It's an open bracket. Anyone can play. Anyone can show up with their stick, play, and I think that's when people think FGC. That's what they think. They don't think and like I don't think that's going anywhere. I don't think we're gonna lose combo breaker. I don't think we're gonna lose like our locals. Like it's built on locals. Right? Talk about
Oh
combo,
yeah, for sure.
but
Yeah,
as long as people are still going out to local, still going to their weeklies, their monthlies, their
when they can, once the pandemic's over. Wear your
yeah,
mask,
when
Yeah.
people.
the pandemic's over, which is starting to sound like when I win the lottery. Uh,
No, no.
Make sure to
but
get your
I don't.
vaccines if you trust them.
I
I'm waiting, brother. I'm waiting. I can't wait to get mine. I'm still waiting for that letter from our local government saying you are now on the list to get a vaccine. Like, yes, thank the Lord. But till that day, I'm sitting here waiting.
just
Understandable.
twiddling my thumb. Yeah.
But no,
But right, that was our big news that we had to cover because obviously it came out last week. I say last week. It came out. When did this come out? March 18th. So yeah, end of last week. Evo news came out that it's coming back. I am all for it. I want to see what Sony, RTS, and Evo do. Actually, people that watch this podcast or listen to this podcast, come back to me in 5 years' time, because I will tell you, Evo will have changed dramatically. I'm not sure how it's going to change, um, but I'll bet you it's going to change dramatically in the next 5 years because of this ownership.
Brawlhalla Evo, please?
No.
Yes. Got to get my shilling in. You know how it is.
Trying to get that
I don't get
Brawlhalla
no
sponsorship.
paid for it. I don't get paid for it either. I just love the game. But no,
Brawlhalla's through Hollywood now. They got $1 million tournaments. They could have their own Evo.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
true.
they pretty much do. But no, that's about it for us here. Evo was the big news we wanted to cover. Does anyone have
Yes.
anything to ask us in chat?
Yeah. Anyone got anything to ask in chat? Like we've covered Evo, we've covered Street Fighter, we've covered Tekken, we've covered Sam Show, we covered King of Fighters. And what did we start off with today? I can't even
We
remember.
started
It's
off
been
with
such
them
a long
fighting herds.
Them's fighting herd. So if you an ungulate and play some quadrupeds, drop some names, let us know. Let me know what you think of the new patch coming. No? No one's got anything today? It's a quiet ass day. Jesus. Steve, what you got?
I got.
What you got?
I don't know what to add. I think we covered everything.
You covered everything?
Alrighty.
Last on my list, then, if we're going to close it out now, as always, we do end this podcast with upcoming tournament.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
We have one coming up this weekend for Mortal Kombat 11, and this is for the WUFL. That is a hell of a tight acronym. The
Man,
Replay Esports Fighting League, the Replay Ultimate Fighting League Season 1. $150,000 prize pool over 3 different games: Mortal Kombat 11, Soul Calibur 6, Tekken 7. This weekend, we've got Mortal Kombat 11. Foxy Grandpa and Sonic Fox have already been flown out to Poland, where this is happening. And they are playing for a grand total of $50,000 for Mortal Kombat. So it's 50,000 across all 3 games. So Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur 6, and Tekken 7 all have 50,000 in the prize pool.
indeed.
And
That's big. That's
I'm
big
sure
for
this-
Soul Calibur.
Indeed. For some people, that probably
It is.
doesn't sound like a lot, especially if you're big into esports as a whole. But for fighting games, that's a nice chunk of money.
That is quite a large chunk. Again, obviously, March 25th to 28th, so this weekend is Mortal Kombat. April 1st to 4th is Soul Calibur, and April 8th to 11th is Tekken 7. But like I said, this week, Mortal Kombat is happening this weekend. Foxy Grandpa, Sonic Fox, they are already in Kiev, where this is being held. Romanova is already flown out. She's at the venue right now with Ketchup and Mustard. So they are, and they'll be your hosts and commentators for this weekend. But guys, they are definitely in good hands. Romanova is amazing. Ketchup and Mustard brothers, amazing guys. They're bros. Actually, we've got names here. What we got? Cool. And like I said, James Banks, he is one of the driving forces of getting esports looking into FGC. Literally, replay.tv, you guys can look up the news. It's an invitational only format, but basically it'll be top name players. So guys, check it out, have a look. That is the only tournament I want to recommend to you guys. Whilst I don't play Mortal Kombat myself, I appreciate the commentators and I appreciate the work being done to have this event on. Like flying players and commentators around the world to a singular location in the current pandemic is a feat on its own.
Very much so. And I look forward to seeing how the tournament goes, especially someone who has always played Mortal Kombat. Even if I haven't played 11 that much, I still always check in with the games. So I'm very interested to see how the tournament goes.
No, I'm gonna be watching that Soul Calibur.
Yes, sir.
April 1st, there you go.
Absolute day one.
I believe that's pretty much all we have here for today's podcast. I hope to see you all sometime soon again on our next week, in the next week or two. I'm Synder.
Hopefully Ichigeki's coming back.
Indeed.
That was Synder. Drift, you know where to find me.
And D, is there anything you like to link?
No, I got nothing to shout out. I've been D.
We got D.
Understandable.
Guys, before we end out the stream, I want to remind the people that are watching this on YouTube as a VOD. If you have found Ichigeki's Twitter account, please let us know. There is still that challenge for you guys.
Indeed.
So
I
in
found
his
his Twitter
absence.
now as myself, but I'm gonna let you
Yes.
all find it yourselves before I put it in the
Yeah.
description.
Exactly. Right. That from myself. Synder, take it away.
Alrighty. This has been Lucky Fuzzies, episode 3. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe down in the comments below. We're gonna catch you all later. In our next podcast, we're probably going to be discussing quite a few more topics. I know this week was only news, but there's a lot of stuff we've missed, so I want to catch us all up with it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.